my name is Catherine and this is my channel, Stitching in Costume. Whew, thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate you stopping by and checking out my channel. If you've never seen me before, this is where I talk about my stitching, primarily cross stitch, but a little bit today at the very end I might throw in some historical costuming that I like to talk about, but it ties in with embroidery, so that's, it's going to be fun. Let's see, today is March 11th, and this is my Flosstube number 16, and I am so happy to be back visiting with you. If you're a subscriber, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for coming back. Okay, so let's see how the light is. It should be okay. It's later in the day for me, so it's a little less glary, maybe a little less bright, but hey, we're just gonna go with it because this is the time I have. And I wanted to film a video today to make sure that I do my giveaway. I had some bags that I wanted to give away from my last Flosstube, and so I'm gonna give those away this time and announce the winners. I already did the random comment picker a couple hours ago, so we're good to go there. So I'll announce that in a few minutes, but let's see. Boy, like a lot of people say, where does the time go? Well, when you're stitching, time seems to fly, doesn't it? So I hope you're sitting down and you're stitching right now and enjoying your weekend. Let's see, by the time this uploads, it's going to be Saturday the 12th, and we've got St. Patrick's Day is coming. I'm in my green Mickey Mouse shirt, and I don't think he's mad. I think he's being brave, so... That's my interpretation, but I'm not sure what Target intended when they sold it to me. Okay, so here we go. So this is what my March looks like so far. Not incredibly packed, but I've got some things on there, and we're only really halfway through, not even quite halfway through. So the first order of business, this is the first thing I would like to talk about, is WIPGO. I've talked about it before. I've talked about Jessie Marie does stuff. I'm going to put links in my channel sooner rather than later. Last time it took me a little bit of time to get it all in there, but I'll make sure that I get the links put in this time. But Jessie Marie does stuff, started WIPGO. This is what my WIPGO board looks like. Whoopsies. This is kind of like a little journal I started to keep track of my, all of my crafty things, stitching, sewing, things like that. And so the numbers that were drawn this month were 21 and 15. So 21 for me is Rose Cottage Pin Keep. So let me just start by saying that I really focused so far this month on those two whips. So I'm not going to pull all my whips out. I do have other things I'm going to show you whip wise, but these are the two things that I'm really putting my head down and going for. So the first one is Rose Cottage Pin Keep, and this one is in my Teresa Kogut bag that I got on her Etsy shop. I love it so much. Really cute, and it's just the right size for some of these smaller charts. This is by Stacy Nash, and really beautiful chart. I kind of stalled out on it because the alphabet at the top, where she has her family alphabet, I think these are her ancestors or parents, it's not, that size of alphabet is not included in the chart, so I kind of stalled out. Now it's not really that big of a deal. I have so many other charts and books that have alphabets in them. I'm sure I can find something to fit there. But then I started to think, maybe I can personalize it in a different way. So what I've decided to do is, instead of doing the initials going across there, I'm going to do little sampler motifs that have meaning to me, that if I had my own little rose cottage, things that I would want to see, bees, beehives, I'd want to stitch there, so there's going to be maybe scissors, maybe not, a snail, because I do stitch pretty slowly, and we know that I'd probably have snails crawling around my garden. But anyway, that's what I decided to do. I went into the Brenda Keys book and I started to pull some motifs from that and adjust them slightly to make them fit. I haven't stitched them on my piece yet. Let me show you where I am with the piece. I'll share the motifs as I get them on there. But that's where I am so far. So I came on down. I went. I started across this way. Went all the way across so that I know that I'm on track there. Everything is going to meet up. And I just have a little bit more of the border to do down at the bottom to frame out the whole piece. I started on the grassy, little grassy hills, and I started on the basket and finished that. So I still have the flowers to put in. That's where I am on Rose Cottage Pin Keep. And let me just tell you that this is 36 count. Picture this plus Heartland. Really beautiful fabric, beautiful modeling, kind of gold looking. The colors are really coming up well today. And I am doing this with the call for DMC flosses. And I do have one change that I've made to the border. I can't remember what the border called for, but instead of that, I used weeks. And this is let me say it, Pamelico. It's kind of a variegated brown color, brownish gray. I just thought that would frame it up on this fabric a little bit better than what the called for was. And again, I don't remember what the called for was, but that's what I'm using. And I'm gonna try to stick to the same flosses to do the motifs across the top. So I haven't really figured out. That might take time, but it's all good. I have time. Alrighty. Oh, the other whip that was on WIPGO that was called was number 15. And I'm so lucky that I wrote this in again. This is Anne Tong Uffendell. So this is the other whip that I am working on for this month. And she was called for the first month too. And so I was working on her in January, and she wasn't called for the second month, but I kind of kept her out there just in case I had time to work on her. And this is by Hands Across the Sea. I'm doing this one on 36 count. It's a lakeside linen called Vintage Pearled Barley. And I'm using the called for Veriswa. And let me show you what I've done. So let me see if I can get this. This is my roller frame. Talked about it before. You've seen this. I'm not terribly far because this is only a couple of days. So I've done this flower, and the end flower. I was going to work on that, fill that in. I started on that, and then I thought, well, because I would want to roll this up, and I have a very narrow setup on my roller frame, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and finish right down here, go across the corner, come up the side, and then I'm going to concentrate on filling that beautiful basket I call it patchwork kind of a vase. Oof, pretty colors. I'm going to back up and open it up for you. So let me get up here and do this. So you can see how big it is. And I just have to tell you, I am 5'4". There you go. Now you know how tall I am. I'm not terribly tall, but this is definitely a big girl. Make a mini dress out of it. I would if I could. That would be a waste of beautiful. Okay, so there it is in all of its glory. Oh, I could look at this all day. It's usually, clearly I keep it rolled up. 90% of the time it is rolled up. So I don't really pull it out unless I'm showing it to somebody. Isn't she pretty? So, yep, that's where I am on that. And it is going to be on my frame for the rest of the month. So like I said, I have a lot of the month left, and I plan to, my goal for working on her was 7 days on my WIPGO, but I really feel like I'm going to put a lot more time into that this month, which is yes, because you know I want to finish her. And here's the beautiful silks. Aren't those pretty? So shiny. They're a little bit messed up. I'm trying to smooth them out for you. Gorgeous. And I got those from the attic on my floss drops. So there we have it. So those are my big focus pieces for this month. I'm going to show you some other projects that I have been working on, just to make sure, you know, I keep my hand on things. I have quite a few projects going and a lot of things I want to start, you'll see. So the other project that I've made some progress on, I actually have a finish and a new start, is I'm doing a sell with Kim the Contented Stitcher and Merritt Crawford are doing the Blackbird Design Home for the Holidays stockings. Let me pull them out. And this is the book it's from. And it's the stocking, those stockings. And I did another Blackbird Design stocking, but it was a mini stocking. So these are slightly bigger. They take a little bit more time. And I was showing them to my son, and he's like, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to finish them and hang them up and look at them all year round. I love them so much. So I finished stocking number 2. Let me show that to you. That is that one right there. So that was the February stocking. And I used the Classic Colorworks Belsois, and it's cranberry for the red, the darker red. Let me see, I have another one too. Pull it up here. That's the Classic Colorworks Belsois. And I also am using XJU Design Marisca's Red. And I wanted to highlight the K with a little bit of a lighter color. And I also put that on the door and around the windows, and I think on this flower pot, because I just had it on my needle, I just kind of kept going with it. But that's where I am with it. So this is on a big piece of 35 count, and I dyed it myself with coffee. So I don't know if I have enough of this, but luckily I know how to do this color to do, if I don't have enough, to do all 5 stockings. There are 5 of them. So that was number 2. Number 3 I started on, and there's a couple days worth of work on that, and you can see the hoop marks. This is the type of thing that I usually do in the morning. I'll do a red thread, sometimes at night if I feel like stitching while I'm watching TV. This one's kind of an easy one to do. And I do the poke and stab, and sometimes I use this kind of hoop when I'm just sitting at the kitchen table. And this one is good. It's not too tight, so it feels like the tension loosens up a little bit. And when I get a pattern going that I feel comfortable with, I can do the sewing method with a hoop that has a looser tension in it. So it does go fast, the sewing method. I find though when I do the letters or specific motifs, I can make mistakes a little bit easier if I'm trying to do that sewing method with it. So I kind of do a blend of both with this. And like I say, it can go super fast if I stay on track. So that's where I am on number 3. And let me see if I can show you really quick what number 3 will look like without showing you the chart. There it is. So I have quite a bit more to do. I have to go down and do the rest of the alphabet and move on down to the bottom and figure out my stitch path for all of that. That's the challenge sometimes with all of these little doodads, is going, okay, well, how am I going to jump over here? And do I have to constantly be, stopping and starting and not carrying my threads? I don't want to overthink it, because it's all going to work out. It'll be fine. So that's where I am on that. And my plan is to finish the rest of that stocking this month. So that is my goal. And this is, by the way, stocking number 1. So you can see I've got a really big piece of fabric. I don't know if I have enough to do. I wonder if I could turn it this way and do the stock. If I have enough at the bottom, I can do a stocking going that way. I can turn the stockings upside down. So I'm still playing around with that. Okay, so I'm really pleased to be a part of that stitch along with those wonderful stitchers. Wonderful. And you can still jump in if you want to. There's no rules that say you can't join any stitch along mid-stitch. The other stitch is kind of a stitch along. I was watching Christy Crosshatch Quilts, and she was showing her Consider the Lilies and talking about how she's stitching on Sundays, doing a stitch along with that. So I had it started, and I'm trying to remember when I started. I think it was in December, but it might have been further back, maybe November. And I kind of, let me show you where I am with it. It's a big girl. This is by Beth Twist, Heartstring Samplery. Isn't that beautiful? I also have his eyes on the sparrow started, but I kind of put it down and picked this up because I just loved the color so much. So I ordered all of the called for flosses, and I had a big piece of Silk Weaver Sandcastle, and it was the perfect size and the perfect color. And let me pull the flosses out so you can see those. Okay, so what I did this last Sunday, is I watched Brenda and Laura, the Serial Starter, and I got this, and I had started on it, and I started doing the motifs on it, and I thought, I don't want to make a mistake and then ruin the border somehow or have to fudge the border. So I decided that I would go ahead and complete the border. And what I did, I was watching Sherry from the Colorado Cross Stitcher will do like half a leg all the way around and then come back and complete the border. Once she gets it to meet up, then she'll come back. So if you make a mistake, there's not so much to pull out. And so that's what I decided to do. And luck be with me, I matched the border all the way around doing that by doing that. And when I was watching Brenda and Laura, so it was a really, really enjoyable afternoon to have that meet up and to have them keep me company while I did it. I'll always think of that when I see this border now. So here's a few of the motifs that I had started before. So kind of stopped mid-stitch, I think, on this guy. Oh, because I made a mistake I had to pull out, and then I said, I'm too tired. So that's where I am on that. And these are the beautiful flosses that I have not yet put on all of the floss drops. I have my Katie Strachan floss drops for this one. Love Katie Strachan. If you haven't checked her out, I'm going to link everybody. She's just amazing, amazing, amazing. So that's where I am with that. Oh, look at all those pretty colors. Really beautiful on that sandcastle. So there's that one. Okay, we're going to move along here. So those are the bigger whips. I also had a start. It wasn't a planned start. They don't all have to be planned, right? And what it was, I'm going to leave the frame for a second. I love the pears. And this is a chart that is a free chart by Samplers and Santas. I'll show you the chart in a second. You can go online, I'll link them, and you can get the free chart yourself. They have quite a few pairs. I feel like they have 4 or 5 pairs, different alphabet pairs that are just beautiful. What I decided to do was the same sampler pair, but on different fabrics. So I did a black one. This was for Black Sampler November, and that's kind of how I finished it. I tend to, and I'm getting better at them, I tend to stitch them and then I stuff them from that point, and I go up and stuff down, and then I put walnut crystals in there, or lizard litter, and then I sew up the top, and I do all that. Anyway, I decided to do a red one, and I was like, oh, I'll do a red sampler pair, a red one. And I started to look through my stash of fabric, and I saw this piece of fabric that I had purchased last year sometime, thinking, well, I'll try it out. It looks a little intimidating to me, but I'll give it a try. No, it's not a 56 count. I'm not that brave yet. Someday maybe. But I got a piece of Aztec red in 36 count. Now, I don't really stitch on dark fabrics that much, but this one is so pretty. The 36 count, showing up great. It's so pretty. And I used a DMC 739 on that. And 1 strand of floss. And I have this really cute fabric I found at a thrift store, like 2 yards of this little teeny tiny red toile that it's a cream background, so it's kind of the same color as this, but the toile is a red, and it's gonna look real adorable. I think that's what I'm gonna use for that. So I'm gonna have a little red pair, and you can see, I think this is a 32 count, and this is 36. It's gonna be quite different size. So, love it. And this is the actual chart right here. So I'm not going to show the whole thing, but that's it. And you can go check them out, and you can do whatever colors you want. It's charted for different colors, but I'm just kind of doing them. Right now I'm just using all one color to see how that turns out. Alrighty, that is it for, I have a new start, but I'm going to wait and share that on my next Flosstube. Our daughter Alex started to stitch, which is really exciting for me. I'm so proud of her. She's picking up cross stitch in her 20s. And so it's not really something, she's an artist. I mean, a great artist. I'm going to insert a couple pictures here of Alex's artwork. I'm an artist in terms of, I'm more of an artsy craftsy person. Alex has the gift that my dad had, where she can see it in her head and it comes out through her fingers. She's amazing. Anyway, I digress. Proud mama about her. She started to cross stitch, and she picked a little owl, and she worked really hard on it and did a fabulous job. I'll let her share it next time. And so I picked a little thing to go, a little owl too, and we were both stitching owls. And I had her try, because she had never cross stitched before, I had her start with Ada, because I feel like Ada is a little bit more accessible for beginners. I think it's a little bit more doable. But I also know her. I know that for her to like pull threads and put the threads together and try to then, thread the threads in the needle and then stitch with the 2 threads. I thought, I'm going to keep it simple for her. So I started her on 18 count Ada, which is kind of small, right? But she only needs one strand of DMC. So she did fabulous. She did a great job. I taught her the waist knot method, so she knows how now to thread her needle and how to do the quilter's knot. that I like to do, and then so she knows how to do that, and she has a waist knot start and catches her thread underneath. She got it. And then we talked about stitch path, how to plan, how to do that, why your X's have to go the same direction. Anyway, it was pretty exciting for me that I had, Alex want to do that. So that was fun. And that was another new start that, maybe, the next Flosstube towards the end, I'll have a little segment with Alex, and you can meet her if you like. Okay, guess what time it is? It's time for the giveaway. So I'm really excited to be giving away these 2 bags. Now, in my last video, I had you leave a comment, be a subscriber, and say whether you want a bag 1, bag 2, or both bags. Now, bag 1 is the Teresa Kogut bag that I'm giving away. Bag 2 is the sampler bag. Let me show you really quick. So these are 2 bags that I made. This is the Teresa Kogut, I call it that. I think it's called Heaven and Nature, is this line. And this is the darker colorway. I know I've seen people have it in the cream, but my local store didn't have that. So this is the colorway I got, which I love it. And I made a little fob to go on the, you can go put it on your scissors, or you can leave it on the zipper. And that's the inside is red. Anyway, that's bag number 1. Bag number 2 is the Sampler Motif Bag. This is the sampler fabric from, it was Quilter Station where I got it. And this is the Blackbird design in the black colorway. And if you watch Brenda and Laura, I'm sure everybody watches Brenda and Laura, Brenda has a tray that she has these amazing, sampler this fabric in different smalls that she's either collected or made herself, buttons, and it's so cute, so inspiring. This is a beautiful fabric. So this one is bag number 2, and I am going to insert the 2 winners right here. Okay, I'm gonna try to film this YouTube random comment picker video, and this is for number 1. So it is the Teresa Kogut bag, and let's see, we've got how many comments? So we have 65, and now I'm going to start the pick. So here we go. The winner is Carol Doherty, and I'm going to write Carol down, and Carol, I will make a comment on your comment, and we'll communicate. You can give me your address and all that fun stuff. This is for number 2, so let's see how many comments for that one. This is for the Blackbird bag, 66. So let's go back over here, and I'm going to start the picker. I can do it without. This one goes to Karen Monick. Congratulations, Karen. Again, I'll make a comment on yours. So congratulations, ladies. So yes, this number 1 is going to Carol, and bag number 2 is going to Karen. Okay, so ladies, please, I will comment on your comments saying that you were the winner of the giveaway, and you can send me an email at stitchingincostume@gmail.com, and I will get your address and we'll communicate, and I will get these out ASAP. So the sooner I get your address, the sooner I can send it out to you. They're all ready to go. So thanks everybody for the comments. I really appreciate you taking time to do that. It means a lot to the people that make videos. It means a lot to me to have you guys interact with me like that. So again, thank you all. I wish I had bags for everybody. I wish I could just, hey, here, giving bags out. right, left, upside down, and sideways. So I'll do it again. I'll definitely be doing another giveaway pretty soon. I did the thing where I bought 2 charts of something, which now I have. Hey, another opportunity to spread the love. So, okay, so that was giveaway. Let's go on to Nashville Needlework Market. So, oh my gosh. Yes, you know, I was sitting on my hands and then something happened. I mean, I was doing pretty good, and I started to watch like all of the videos where people were showing their choices, what they really wanted to get, or they were just sharing, you know, what was out there. Stacy 991 Stitcher, she does a great job of showing like all of the latest charts that are coming out. And so she showed some, and I was watching Karen and Brenda from Fox and Rabbit, and they were showing things, and because they're, you know, they just were there and selling out the first day. And so yeah, I mean, it's so exciting to see this craft thriving the way it is. I just get so much enjoyment out of it, and I'm so happy that it feels like there should be, you know, needlework stores popping up everywhere. But I know having a brick and mortar right now is probably a challenge, so that's why everybody's doing it online. So kudos to you guys that are designers and the stores that are supplying us. I know you're probably, it's like a tornado right now. And, you know, I'm one of those people, I can wait. You know, I almost feel like, you know, I order things from KittenStitcher. I feel like typing in, take your time. There's no rush. No rush. I've got plenty to stitch. You just take your time. Same with, you know, Rachel from Needle and Flax. You know, she's a one-person operation. She's doing the best she can. Well, she's doing a fantastic job. Let's just say that. Her linen is amazing. I have a piece I'm going to show you in a second. Anyway, all that to say, Blackbird Designs had a chart come out at Nashville. I had to get it. A Heart Remembers. I'm going to insert pictures here. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm clearly a sucker for hearts and flowers. I'm sure there's a lot more in there that I want to stitch, but I couldn't leave it. I had to get it. So that went in my cart, and I was on KittenStitcher, and then I saw this. I actually saw this before I went on her site, and I think I was watching Fox and Rabbit, and they showed this one, and someone else had shown it, and I think I even saw it on KittenStitcher before, and then they showed it, and I just said, I have to get it. I'm going to try to pronounce this. Cathcart Colquhoun, 1785. So again, I'll put it up here. I don't know if you do this. Sometimes I will go on a site to go shopping, and I put a bunch of things into my cart, and then I go back into my cart and I look at things and I think, okay, what is really singing to me? What do I have to have? And that is something I absolutely had to get. It's by Shakespeare's Peddler, so KittenStitcher. It's one of her, I think she reproduced it. It might be, I don't know. I think it's a reproduction. But I just loved it. I love the alphabet. I love the people. I love the colors. I had a few things in my cart, and I kind of strategically deleted things until I got down to what my heart couldn't leave. And so those two are going to be on their way eventually to me. I know she's got a ton of orders after Nashville. So yes, those are my Nashville things. Now there are other things out there. I'm going to say this one right here is called Corgi Caboodle by Plum Street Samplers. Absolutely I have to get it. I don't have it yet. But it's going to go in a cart somewhere else, and I'm going to spread the love out a little bit. But that one for sure is going to be in my hot little hands this year. So again, Nashville, there's just so many great designs this year, and it is super exciting to see designers really, like, they're answering our call. I mean, the things that we love, they're like, okay, I got it, you know, I'm gonna give it to you. So that's a lot of fun, and a lot of fabrics, and all of that. I'd be a kid in a candy store if I was there. So it's probably a good thing that it's just a wholesale market, you know, and be finding my way there. Okay, so on that note, let's talk a little bit. I have a couple other little pieces of stash I'm going to share with you. So Rachel from Needle and Flax, everybody's raving about her, and I have another piece of her fabric that I don't know if I've shared it yet or not. It's called La Brea, but I didn't bring it downstairs with me. First of all, they come in this really pretty blue, robin egg blue, or is it Tiffany? Could be Tiffany blue bags, and then she has little, you know, paragraphs about why she named the fabric this, or what inspired her to name this fabric Dirty Teacup. This is probably my favorite new fabric of all time. It is so pretty, and I know everybody's saying it's like Lakeside. Yeah, the hand, it's wonderful. The colors are just so pretty. Let me see if I can get it right about there. Isn't that beautiful? The modeling. Oh, Dirty Teacup in the best way. That is so pretty. So my hope for this, I'm going to pull out one of my other purchases, is to use this for the one I was never going to get, or I was going to wait to get. I couldn't stand it anymore. I had to get it. Is Catherine Dickinson from Scattered Seed Sampler, and I think it would look really beautiful on this Dirty Teacup. And I'm hoping I have enough of this. I'm not really sure about the stitch count, but it says that the design area is basically like a 9x9. So it's like a 9x9 square. So I'm hoping that I'm gonna have enough to use this and then have more of this left over for something else, something small maybe. But I did get the flosses for that, and isn't that pretty? So that is going to be a new start this year. I'm not sure when, but that's definitely going on the menu. And that was one purchase. One other purchase I have, I was on Country Stitches, the Brenda Gervais site, and I had wanted this for a really long time, and I couldn't find it. She didn't have it for a while, but she must have got another print run of it. And I know Valerie, Stitching in the Barn, finished this, and she was talking about how much longer it took her to finish it than she thought. And you know, it isn't tiny. It's 266 wide by 114 high. So, and there is quite a bit of stitching in that, but it is gorgeous. I love the birds. I love the house. Yeah, so pretty. I don't have it kitted at all, but I will definitely be kitting this up at some point this year, and going for it. Let's see, the other purchase I have. So this one I talked about last time. I had already purchased it. So this is the ES Spot Sampler, and this is a really bad copy of it. My printer, the ink is kind of going. So beautiful. So this is by Of Female Worth, and this was out of print for a really long time and very coveted, going for hundreds of dollars on eBay. And Brenda and Laura showed it that it was being reproduced by 1884 Stitchery. I'll link that. And you can go over and get a PDF or a physical copy of it for under $20. And so I zoomed over there, shoomed, and I got this. And then I purchased many of the flosses. Now I don't think I did all of them, but I knew that the reds and the pinks and the blue, I had to get. That blue is so pretty. What blue is that? I'm going to tell you what color that is really quick, because it is a really, really pretty blue. Let me pull it out for you. Navy. It's just navy by WIPGO, but look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's hard to see it against my green sweater maybe. Let's pull this out. There we go. Super pretty. Okay. And so yeah, I got a couple of the reds. I think the really bright red is Turkish red by WIPGO. So I knew that there were some key colors that I really, really wanted to make sure I had before I started it. And the rest I might be able to fudge from my stash. Or get the DMC. That would be close enough to work for that. So that is, I think that's it. That's all that I have really purchased to show you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I need to kind of settle down and stitch, and I'm happy to be doing that. Okay, let's, I think I'm gonna wrap that part up. So I believe that is all the stitching, all the cross stitching that I have to share with you. Now I'm going to talk just a little bit about another project that I was working on, and this is a gold work project. So if you're just here for cross stitch, this is a good stopping off point to jump into a different cross stitcher. I'm going to talk a little bit about a gold work project, and it ties in with a historical dress that I have been following Maker do. So I'm just going to chit chat for a few minutes. So again, thanks if you're leaving. You know I love you. Have a good stitchy weekend, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. So I want to just touch on this just slightly. 2009 is kind of when I first started to really dive headfirst into how the historical costumes were made, and from the inside out. And it was really a time when the internet really took off. People were blogging about how they built things. It was before YouTube really demonstrations and videos and things like that. So you had to really dive into people's written blogs. And so I did a lot of that deep diving. And one of the people that I really started to follow is a lady named Cathy Hay. Now, Cathy, I've met several times through the costuming community. She is just a beautiful person. She lives in the UK and has a company called Foundations Revealed. It's a website where it is all about historical costuming. And it's a fascinating website to search through. I think you can search through it without being a member, but if you are a member, there's a lot more added benefits if you're into costuming to that degree. And so there's a wealth of information on her site. And she also has a YouTube channel I'm going to link that has a lot of her costuming adventures on it. She's a good friend of Bernadette Banner. If you're a costume follower, you know her. YouTube channel as well. I'll link both of those ladies. So Cathy started a project called the Peacock Dress. Let me just read you a little bit of information about the Peacock Dress. And while I'm talking about this, I'm going to be inserting pictures here for you to look at. So the Peacock Dress was made in 1902, and this was for Lady Mary Curzon and it was made by Charles Frederick Worth in France. And it was made for the 1902 coronation of King Edward VII and Queen Alexandra to be Emperor of India. So there is a whole nother vein of colonialism that goes into this story. I won't get into all of that. Cathy talks about that in great detail and explains it from a very well-educated background. The dress was made basically Mary Curzon and her husband, Lord Curzon, he was the viceroy and she was the vicereine, I think is what they called it, of India, when it changed hands to British rule. And to mark that occasion, there was a big party. It was called the Durbar, and it culminated in a big ball where she wore this dress. The peacock dress was, like I said, made by Worth in France, but it was embroidered in gold work in India by Zardosi embroiderers. Zardosi is still done today, and it's very labor intensive, as you can imagine. Cathy had decided, I think this was back in 2010, 2011, she was going to reproduce the dress. She had done another Worth dress. It was the oak leaf dress, and I actually saw that in person. The first year I went to costume college in Los Angeles, I got to see her in that dress, and it was like, whoa, a rock star, which she is. So she decided to do the peacock dress, but knew that it was a big endeavor, and it actually coincided with the devastation that happened in Haiti at the time, and so she did a fundraiser so that she could go to Haiti and help build an orphanage. And if you donated to this fundraiser, she in return was going to build this peacock dress. Anyway, long story short, all these years later, the peacock dress has been up, down, side. It's been a long journey for her. And I'm going to leave it to you to go check that out if you want to learn more about that dress. It's on hold. It turned out that making the dress was, if she was to embroider those panels by herself, it would have taken her 30 years just to do the panels. And now she's got to build a dress. She realized that, you know, really the embroidery had been done in India, and that's where it should be done again. So she was going to have it done there. And but before all that happened, at costume college that year, I think it was 2011, she led a class on how to make a peacock feather, how to actually do it. And so she had a kit, and I signed up for the class, and I made my own peacock feather. This is a representation of what actually would have been on the dress. I believe I finished this. So that is my peacock feather. Get a little closer for you. Now the thing about gold work, as you know, if you follow gold work, it does tarnish over time. When I first did this, it was like a disco ball. It was just amazing. If you go to Cathy's site, she has pictures of her panels that she had created initially and how sparkly it was. They were just so beautiful, and this has still got a beauty to it. You can see. So this is all gold work. It's got pearl, it's got check, it's got passing thread that is couched down, and then the green part is a beetle wing. And so this is what the dress was made of, but it was completely covered with this gold. So you can only imagine her walking out in that dress at the ball in the candlelight, and how absolutely jaw-dropping that was. So yes, I just wanted to share a little bit about that. And this is, I probably should frame it. I just have it on a panel. This is on a silk taffeta background, and I just kind of stuck it on this so that I could look at it in my sewing room. But probably will stick it in a frame. So that is the peacock dress. You know, I'm into a lot of historical costuming bits, and I feel like I'm diving back in a little bit. I feel like I want to start stitching a costume again. I have a lot of silk. I need to work on some of my costumes, so maybe I'll be picking that up again this year. So many things I want to do, right? When am I going to get myself cloned so I can get all this stuff done? Okay. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk about. I'm not going to go into, again, all the politics, but, you know, I'm going to link a shop in the Ukraine that has an Etsy site, and my daughter found it, actually. She was looking for cross-stitch patterns that appealed to her, and she found this one site, and she said, oh, it's in the Ukraine. I said, oh, that's great, and they have PDFs. So it's called, oh gosh, it is called Shop Ukraine. It's EmbroDIY, EmbroDIY. Anyway, I'll put it here. I'll link it for you. It has really cool, it has great motifs. It's phases of the moon. It's got, you know, I love bugs, but they're very stylized. These beetles, dragonflies, butterflies, very stylized and a lot of color, beautiful, beautiful designs. So if you feel like you would like to support the Ukraine community artists by purchasing a PDF, yeah, go do that. Okay, y'all. I hope you're enjoying your stitching time, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks, maybe 3, and have more progress to show. Be winding up my month with all of my WIPs that I'm currently working on. I probably have a couple new starts coming up. I can't resist. And yes, so happy St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate that. I'll be having soda bread, corned beef and cabbage, and walking the corgis all over the green hills here. So with love from California and with love from my heart, thank you for being a part of my journey, and happy stitching. I wish you many peaceful hours with your needle and thread. Bye, everybody.